Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 of my favorite tarot decks of all time. Now, this list is nowhere near complete. It's nowhere done. There's always fantastic decks coming out, so this video and these decks, they're going to change. But there's one that we're just going to start with because it doesn't change. No matter how many times I find new decks, no matter how many decks I fall in love with, there is none that sit in my heart as much as the Deviant Moon Tarot. You can tell from this box, like look at the sides of it, look at the top of it and everything. Like this deck, I use it more than I use any other deck. I love it. Every single full moon reading, every single new moon reading, every opportunity and excuse I get, it's this deck right here. It's even missing one of the little flaps right there because I've opened it so often. There's nothing I love more than the Deviant Moon Tarot. So of course, in a top 10 favorite decks video, there's none. I have to start with this one. The other ones, you know, they're not in any kind of order or anything like that. But the Deviant Moon, I mean, look just at the back. The back is incredible too. But the Deviant Moon, there's nothing in my heart like tarot-wise that sits in my heart as much as the Deviant Moon Tarot. And those backs, everything, like they're just incredible. Now I've gotten a couple cards on the top here that I'd like to show you to kind of reiterate like that love that I have for this deck and why I love it so much. All the cards, and you can see them all like right there, they're all reminding us to be weird and proud of who we are. Don't let other people like take our light away. Just be weird, be proud, let that freak flag fly. That's one of my favorite sayings. Like here's some of the cards that I really enjoy the most. Yeah, we'll go right there with all of those because they're like my favorites in the deck. So we're going to start with Death right here. Now I love this illustration of Death because you know, like the Rider-Waite-Smith, it's got the guy on the horse, like the skeleton on the horse, death coming for everybody no matter how young or old you are. Now this one doesn't speak of actual death. It doesn't show that kind of thing. Yeah, they're already dead most likely because they've got skeletons for skulls for heads, but the illustration kind of depicts this, I want to go back. I want to go back in time. I don't want to deal with life, but you have to. You know, what no longer serves us is dead. Something new is being created. And that's what this illustration screams to me. And it's such just a wonderful illustration. It's weird, it's fantastic, and it's like none other. So we're going to set that one aside and move to this one right here, the Three of Cups. Now the Three of Cups, Rider-Waite-Smith, shows three people standing there, three women standing there celebrating a successful harvest. There's pumpkins all around. They've got their cups and they're toasting them. There's no pumpkins or anything right here. They've still got the cups. They're still celebrating. And they're in danger. There's no land around whatsoever, and they're in the mouth of a very, very, very sharp-toothed fish. So they might die, but they don't care. They're enjoying the moment, and that's what the Three of Cups is to me. It's about enjoying the moment, celebrating what we have, and the people that just relate to us, the people that fill our cups up with joy. So it's like the three amigos right here. They're all different. They all have their own lives, but they come together and they celebrate. And that three, that relates to creativity and creation itself, the Empress. So it kind of reminds us when we're in that happy place, when we're around the people that just fill us with joy, creative ideas can come to us and we can grow them, maybe even better together. Next up, I have the Nine of Cups because this illustration, like there's nothing better than it in my opinion. It reminds us in a way that you know, there's no magic genie, there's no fairy godmother, anything like that to make our wishes come true, as much as that would be nice and this would really happen. But we have to make them ourselves. And there's all the cups, all the things that brought us joy in the past, and all the knowledge that we have experienced and learned from those past experiences. That's what can give us what we need to make our wishes come true. I love this illustration so much. It remains the background on my phone. You know how like you can have the wallpaper on your phone, like on your home screen? I'd show you, but I use my phone to take the video, so we can't do that, but this is the illustration that I use for my phone because I love it that much. Next up, we have the Magician, and I love this illustration of the Magician because it's like he's dipping his finger into this goblet of blood. It shows the blood, sweat, and tears that we need in order to make our magic happen. Begin whatever we want to begin. He's got his sword, so he has that logic part of him. He's got that cup. He's got that cup of blood that shows like all the things that he's learned in the past, and he's dipping his finger into that to say he's embracing his power and embracing that blood, sweat, and tears aspect so he can grow his ideas, there's the coin showing the money that we need in order to make our dreams a reality. And of course the wand up here, and that shows the passion that is front and center when he takes his ideas and runs with them. And here's all the shadows in the background, all the people that are there expecting him to make magic. Fake it till you make it. Put in that effort and work and begin what makes your inner fire light, what brings that magic out of you, and take that and grow it. Next up, I have the Six of Pentacles. I forgot which order I have these in. And this Six of Pentacles, it speaks for itself. You know, you've got the Rider-Waite-Smith again with the fair and balanced. You got the two beggars underneath, person giving them money or wealth and all that. It's got a scale and it's very fair and balanced. This one, though, shows the real life, I feel. And that society, that aspect, you know, we only get what they want to give us. Look at what all they're hiding behind them. So that's kind of got that negative aspect, but there's so much truth to it. And I love this illustration. I think it's my favorite Six of Pentacles of all time. Next up, we've got the Six of Swords. I have a thing for the sixes right now, don't I? But the Six of Swords, leaving the past behind, the stress of the past behind, and moving forward to a time of peace and harmony. It's all right here in this illustration. It shows when our minds are clear, when our minds are open to the opportunities, and we're not letting the stress drive us crazy and the stress hold us back, then we move forward and trust those minds to get us to where we want to be. That six is the number of the lovers and self-reflection. So reflecting on those experiences of the past, you know, all the bridges we might have burned, all the experiences we left behind, that's going to give us that knowledge, you know, when we love ourselves enough to keep going, to move forward and trust our minds, not letting our minds overwhelm us to get to where we want to be. And last but not least, I picked this one last because I love the illustration and it connects to something that is extremely important to me and I'm definitely impatiently waiting for. And that is the Seven of Pentacles. Now, this illustration screams to me that just because you stab the tree and make it bleed does not make it give you what you want faster. You know, this is the card of having patience with the process, not giving up even when you don't want to wait. And I love that illustration, that aspect, because it just shows that little tiny bit of negativity, that impatience of I want it now. And you can't have that. You can't make the tree bleed. You're not going to get the fruit off of it any faster. And that little girl right there, that little witch, she has to put in that effort and put in that work in order to become the witch she wants to be. And that leads me to the witch from the Deviant Moon Oracle that we are still waiting impatiently to come out. I'm so freaking excited about this Oracle deck, you know, obviously because it's the Deviant Moon Tarot, Deviant Moon Oracle. And that little girl right there, that little witch that has, you know, no patience right there, she took that time, she took that patience, and now she's bringing fire into her life because she learned from those experiences. She had that patience with the process, she learned everything that she could, and that patience has paid off because there she is. She's got the coin, she's got the fire, she's got the passion because she didn't give up. And that's, like I said, that's the Deviant Moon Oracle. It's not in the tarot, Deviant Moon Tarot, but you got that, like that back there with the I don't know what you call it, like the paradoxical side, I think that's what they call it. I don't remember exactly, but you got that illustration right there, front and back, and that shows the patience paying off and her becoming the successful witch she was born to be. 4 and 4, she's the strong foundation that she needs to be, and she's found that success and wealth that comes with the 8 because she found her internal strength and she had the patience to find it. So that is the Deviant Moon Tarot, my favorite deck of all time. Like I said, there's 10 of these, so we're going to have to put this back in the box. And we're going to have to move right forward with my next deck to share with you. Get these in if I can, you know, safely, so they don't get hurt, and I can keep using them again and again and again. Set that aside and move on to the next one, which is another deck created by Patrick Valencia and Deviant Moon. It's one of the most awesome decks that I've seen. This one I don't use as much because I don't want to ruin it. It's one of those rare decks. I believe it is out of print now, so you can't purchase it, but you know, there's always someone like selling things on eBay and things like that. Let me see if I can get in there to my favorite illustrations. Yeah, there we go. Set those aside. Backs aren't as pretty as the Deviant Moon Tarot, but they're still really cool. You can't tell the difference between upright and reversed, so they're awesome nonetheless. And we'll get right to the cards right here. This one, I got it upside down, is Temperance. I think I accidentally grabbed that one because I'm not really like necessarily think I remember picking this one, but it's important nonetheless. Sagittarius energy, learning from the past to apply that knowledge to the present, you know, the alchemist of the tarot. And you've got there like her stomach, so she's on board with that. You know, she's got a good meal in her, she knows where she's going, and she's even got 2 different faces here. The one is focused and the one is kind of blowing that smoke. So, you know, optimism and everything. I know things are going to go my way. And that bird over there, I just love that illustration of the bird and the purple and everything. It's very regal. It's very royalty and things like that. So it reminds us of times in the past. And then I realize as I'm saying temperance, that says the Empress. So creativity and creation itself. I don't know why the Empress there just kind of made temperance in my head. But no, this is creativity and creation itself. This is the Empress. She's pregnant with new life, but she's still focused on what she wants to create. You know, she's learned from the experiences of the past, so she knows what she wants to create next. So again, whether this is obviously not temperance, it's still very much a beautiful illustration. Next up, I have the Four of Swords. Now, what I like about this illustration is the patience that this character has. This patience, like he's taking that time to look within. He's done things in his past he might not be proud of, but he's taking that time to learn from them so he can grow and be that successful character and that successful being that he can be moving forward after he takes that time to see himself as the strong foundation that he is. Now, I don't know if this is intentional or anything, because it's two different decks, but it's very much created by the same creator and the same artist who is just incredible. But that Four of Swords right here connects, I think, to the Six of Wands over here from the Deviant Moon Tarot, because that's the flower that has bloomed. He's found his power, he's found his worth, and now everybody's celebrating him. So I think that's a cute little connection between the two cards, whether they're meant to or not, because they really seem to connect to me. Like they belong together, like the Witch and the Seven of Pentacles from the Deviant Moon Tarot and the Deviant Moon Oracle. It shows that taking that time to learn from your experiences, to see yourself as that strong foundation that you are, so you can trust your mind. And when your mind is on board, then your fire inside is on board too, and everybody can celebrate you because you're celebrating yourself and you know how successful you can be, and you've appreciated all the victories you've had before. So I love that illustration of the Four of Swords, and of course I love that illustration of the Six of Wands as well. Moving on, we have the Nine of Coins, the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Material Happiness and Financial Success of Earth. And I love this illustration just because of the beauty of it. Like, look how gorgeous this collar is and everything, those rainbows and everything like that. It's just absolutely beautiful. Next up, I have the High Priestess, and this is my favorite illustration of the High Priestess as well, because look at all those books. All that knowledge she has, that knowledge fuels her inner fire and makes her trust her intuition anymore. And I think I have, of this particular deck and the Major Arcana, at least I have like 3 different illustrations of this particular card, because the Major Arcana in the Trionfi Della without the illustrated pips, because this is the one with illustrated pips, there's like the Minor Arcana, they've got like wands and swords and things like that, and no actual illustrations like we had with the Nine of Pentacles right there. But the High Priestess is always the same, because the Major Arcana was very much illustrated, but this just, it's incredible. You've got the fire, you've got the character in the middle, all calm and collected, because she's learned from those things that she's experienced. She's learned from the history of the humanity and the past and everything like that. And she has that knowledge with her, and she doesn't let it overwhelm her. She lets it lead her to trusting her intuition and growing her ideas. Next up, I have the Queen of Wands, and I love this illustration because of this going on in the back. Doesn't matter how much the haters want to tell her she can't do something. Doesn't matter how many people make fun of her or make her think that she should doubt herself. She keeps going. She ignores them. She lets that fire lead her, and she's moving forward. Well, she's kind of looking towards the past in the back in this illustration, but nonetheless I think it's more moving forward, and all those people that like hate against her, she's not letting them hold her back. She's taking that passion and that fire and that wand and leading with it to create something that she wants, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Moving forward, I've got the Three of Cups, and come on, this illustration is just hilarious and funny. You know, be weird, be proud, don't care what anybody else thinks, and let that fire fuel you. You know, fart and laugh about it. Those are the people that, you know, we can really be comfortable with. Those are the ones that we want to be with, the ones that we toast our cups up. Remember the Deviant Moon Tarot and those 3 dudes that were inside of the mouth of the fish with really sharp teeth? Well, this is a similar illustration. I mean, there's no shark or anything, but it's just be weird, be proud, don't care what anybody else thinks, and celebrate those weirdness and differences with your friends. And then last but not least, I have the Nine of Cups. And I love this one because it's kind of weird, and it kind of has a different, different energy to it than another Nine of Cups. And you've got all the cups up here, but if we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, There's one missing. And it kind of shows, like, you know, too much of a good thing might not be a good thing, because he's got that other cup in his stomach. You know, he took too much on. So you're making all your wishes come true. Maybe you need to take a step back and appreciate the wishes you've already achieved. So that is the Trionfi Della Luna, created by Patrick Valencia, illustrated Pips edition. Beautiful, beautiful deck. You know, like I said, it's I think it's out of print. You can probably find it, someone selling it, but it's definitely, if you like weird and you like strange, creepy illustrations, this is definitely a deck that you might want to add to your collection if you have not already. Next up, we have the Shadowland Tarot, and the box alone is really awesome. It's huge, and another thing of great about this deck, let's see if I can do this in my little tent thing that I have going on. There we go. We'll look at the guidebook really fast, because the guidebook is one of the things that makes this deck incredible. Because you see, for one, how thick it is, how big it is, and it has so much information in it. Like, I've never seen a guidebook that is this detailed. Like, all of this just for the one minor arcana cards. You got the card, you got the keywords, you got the shadows, which means like the reversed version of it, and the message and everything. And it even has like the health messages about that. You know, you don't use tarot for health necessarily. You need to go to a doctor if you need information about that, but it's nice that you have this little piece of information here. Like Seven of Wands, physically the Seven of Wands is indicating that you must be careful with your energy and your immune system at the moment. You may be fighting against a virus, cold, or pathogens. So that's a little message just to be aware. And that guidebook, like I said, there's nothing, no guidebook I've ever seen that is as detailed as that one right there. But the cards are what really make this deck magical. For one, backs right there, like yellow and black. It's very popping. It's very interesting. And then if you look at the sides there, they've got gold foil on the side. So that's a nice little nod there too. I think I did it this way. Yeah. Let's see if I can get the cards out. Yeah, we'll go right there. Just a few from here, just to give you an idea of what the illustrations look like. Like the Nine of Swords right there, the card of our own fears and anxiety keeping us awake at night, and that's definitely a fear and anxiety right there. If you had a bunch of spiders over your head, I've heard that no matter where you are or how immaculate your house might be, there is always a spider somewhere nearby. And I like, especially like this time of year, like October and everything, like this, it's getting colder outside, so the spiders want to come in more. And I don't mind them. I'll see them around, like maybe in the bathroom sometime, like hanging, like making a little web behind a light, and I leave them because they can eat like insects and stuff that might not be good for you, and they're not hurting anything, I don't think. And I think they're cute, but that's just me, and I'm weird. So fears and everything like that, I love that illustration. Five of Pentacles next. This is a different take on the Five of Pentacles, and that's why I really like it. Because it kind of screams you don't fit in. You know, you feel like you're down on your luck because here's all the people enjoying themselves, having a campfire and celebrating. And Bigfoot is over here just feeling down on his luck because he doesn't feel like he fits in. But maybe, just maybe, if he were to walk over there and wave at him, be willing to swim over there to him, they could accept him for who he is. And that's the beautiful thing about the Five of Pentacles. When we are down on our luck and we don't know where to turn, that's when the people that know what it's like, that have been in that same position that we are now, that can help us get out of it, and we find our soul family. So I love that illustration of the Five of Pentacles. 15, the Devil. This illustration, it's just everything to me. You know, it's got that weird and proud kind of vibe to it, but it kind of shows like all of that money, all of the alcohol, all the vices, all the addictions. It's causing us to lose sight on the things that are important, making us feel like prisoners in our lives because it's holding us down. Like he could put all that stuff down and he could keep going. He can make that money that's on top of that when he lets go of his vices and addictions. And then last but not least is this Eight of Swords. I love this illustration of the Eight of Swords because of all the feathers that are around the crow in the center. You know, me and crows. I love crows. Crows and I. Yeah, that's more grammatically correct. But beside the point. The illustration right here, like all those feathers, you know, that came from him. All those experiences of his past, that's what's holding him back. But if he were to learn from them, if he were to pick those feathers up and know that he's experienced that and it's made him stronger, then he can find that success and wealth of the Eight. So I love that illustration showing our minds and our own experiences are the reasons that we feel trapped in our lives. Perhaps the reasons that our inner devils want to hold us back and make us give in to vices and addictions. Perhaps the reason we feel like we don't fit in with other people and let those inner voices fill us with anxiety and doubt. So our minds can make us or break us, and those cards that I just happened to pick there definitely seem that they're breaking us. But Shadowland Tarot, definitely in my top 10. of favorite decks that I found so far. And I say found so far because, like I said a moment ago, or however long ago, that there's always new decks coming out, always new things, new decks to like experience. My husband has told me that I have too many decks already. But as I tell him, you know, you have different decks for different illustrations, and the different illustrations give you new light and new meanings to the cards. And, you know, there's 78 different illustrations and different cards in a deck, but having different versions of these decks definitely can have new experiences and like new meanings that you might not have seen before. Next up, I have the Titanic Risen Spirits deck. This is the second version of this deck. There's the Titanic regular edition too, but they have gone back and done the second edition, so there are like illustrated pips, because the other ones were like all underwater, like coins and swords and stuff like that. So I did a side-by-side video of that a while back. If you search through my channel, you might be able to find it. So it shows the cards side by side. The backs of these cards are absolutely beautiful. The card stock is really cool. I'm obsessed with the Titanic. It's one of my favorite, like, not favorite things of history, but it's something I've always really just been interested in. I think one of my past lives was on the Titanic. And, you know, that's not a good thing, but it definitely shows why I'm scared of going like on a cruise or anything like that and getting away from the ocean and away from water, because that definitely is not something that I would want to do. Okay, so the High Priestess in this deck is called the Seer, and I love this illustration of the Seer because she's seeing things. You know, she's sitting on the Titanic, or maybe she's just sitting on the dock and she sees the stuff that's going on. She trusts herself enough to look within, you know, maybe not go on the cruise in the Titanic because, well, we know how that ended. So we've got that illustration right there. They're not like glossy or anything like that, which is really cool because they turn out really, really well on camera right there. Like the illustrations, they're so well done there. It's absolutely beautiful. Like the Three of Coins right here, showing that the Titanic wasn't just a work of one person. It shows how much they worked together to create it and collaborated together. So I love that illustration of the Three of Pentacles. Next up, the Tower, of course, and the Titanic crashing, or the Titanic going into the iceberg and why can't I think today? Sinking. That is the word I'm looking for. And sinking, that is definitely a tower experience. So that is a great nod to Titanic, great nod to the tower, and shows definitely a tower situation. Next up, I have the Eight of Swords. Again, Eight of Swords is like a stalker card to me, so I have it a lot because that mind of mine wants to keep me a prisoner quite often, and she feels like she's stuck. You know, you've got all those swords there, all that doubt and everything, all like, what am I going to do? Because she can't get into the elevator. But hello, lady, stairs. You know, make your legs work. Go up the stairs and find those lifeboats before it's too late. Next up, which one I have? The Fool, of course. The Fool, you know, she's a fool right there because she's getting onto the Titanic, but, you know, unsinkable. I would jinx it, in my opinion. You know, if they told me it was unsinkable, it's like, the universe, God, spirit, your higher self, and all that. The powers that be tell you, you know, you shouldn't have said that because then you're jinxing it. And the dog down there, that dog says don't go. So trust that animal instinct that says this is a bad idea, and that's what that Fool tells me. So the Titanic Risen Spirits is an awesome, awesome deck. It might be out of print too, but you know, there's always places to buy it if you're willing to pay. You've got that black sides right there, those black sides. I think that is incredible. It's like a unique little take to it that you don't see usually on other decks. And the box is really nice, you know, it keeps them nice and safe in there. The deluxe version has like a wooden box around this original box, but I just have this one. I have the deluxe version of the first one, but why need two deluxe versions? They take up more space. And there's the guidebook and everything with colored illustrations and stuff, and semi-detailed, you know, more like your intuition is working, but you've got that nice little white book. Moving forward, I'm going to go with the Three Cheese Tarot. If there was a cheese tarot, why isn't there a cheese tarot? That'd probably be up in my tops too, because it's just funny. But Three Trees Tarot, created by Oak, Ash, and Thorn, or maybe back in, like, there's interchangeable. I don't know which way's which. Oak, Ash, and Thorn Tarot or Three Trees Tarot. It says Three Trees Tarot, so we're just going to go with that. But these illustrations, they're incredible. They're beautiful. Like, look how awesome these illustrations are. Like, this one has no words on it whatsoever, but that's what I love about it. I love the fact that it's just sitting there. It's like almost like the Fool and all these obstacles that you have in your way, but you know, you're being a little bit, you're being knowledgeable. You're going through it. You're going to go even if you feel small and inadequate at the time. So those are just a couple illustrations from this deck. I have more over here that I was really going to talk about. Right here, like the Magician. Here's the cards that go with, like, there's no guidebook, but you have the little information on the cards right there to give you, like, information about it. And there's a few more in there. I have it kind of, like, unorganized right now. But the Magician right there, the Magician is the crow. So, of course, you know, again, myself and crows and myself, kind of obsessed. So you've got that illustration of the Magician right there, and it's just the artwork on it. It's beautiful, like how well they did it. Do I have them? Yeah, I've got them like that. The star are the two fish right there. It kind of gives me Pisces vibes, even though the star is connected to Aquarius. But it shows that, just that energy of coming up from the ocean of emotion, not letting that tower experience hold you back, but learning from it and finding your hidden talents and keep going, because you know that you are the star of your story. The Emperor, they're bucks, like the male deer and everything. I think they're some of the most incredible creatures in the world. No, I do not want to shoot them. I want to shoot them with a camera and take a picture of them because they're so majestic, so awesome. And that's what this Emperor is. He's the majestic buck in the woods, the forest that's like, has all the power. And I love that. It's just how awesome it is. The Ace of Cups there with the squirrel and everything. I love the nature aspect of this. It's one of the coolest decks ever. I've got a few animal decks out there, but this one is probably my favorite because of how well illustrated it is. You know, that squirrel there looking at that acorn, you know, is he going to jump into that ocean of emotion? Is he going to grab that and he's going to make something out of it? That's what that kind of screams to me. And then last but not least is this Judgment card. I love this aspect of the Judgment and the way it is because he's being attacked by those butterflies. But those butterflies show the transformation and the transformative energy that is available to him when all the smoke clears and everything, and he learns from his past and he forgives his past so he can fly forward and reach the stars and achieve his goals. He's transforming too. Even if right now, you know, it's a little bit dark and it's a little bit unclear, taking that time to learn from those experiences so you can trust your intuition, judge yourself fairly, and you can transform yourself like a butterfly, sort of. So that is the Oak, Ash, and Thorn 3 Trees Tarot, my personal favorite animal deck. Like I said though, there's always new decks coming out, always new decks to find and purchase and spend our hard-earned money on. So this is just, it's my favorite for now. It might not be my favorite forever. Who knows? Maybe the Deviant Moon Tarot, there will be a deck that can compete with it sometime. I don't have a hope for that. When I first started reading the tarot and made all my social media accounts and started seeing other people's decks, I fell in love with the Deviant Moon Tarot, and I've gotten probably 100 decks since then, and no deck has even come close to how much as I love Deviant Moon Tarot. This one, The Journey to Oz and Wonderland by Mystic Madness Tarot, comes close, and a lot of these do come close, but they aren't as... well, they don't, like, I don't love them as much. I feel guilty for saying this, but there is, like, I could have just done a whole video on just the Deviant Moon Tarot, but I've done that before, and I've showed it 100,000 times. So I have to show other decks too. And this one is definitely one up there because this is one of the Kickstarter decks that I backed. I have a video on unboxing this one as well. And it's just, the deck is absolutely gorgeous and there's nothing else out there like it. The guidebook, you can see the guidebook right here. It is colored and illustrated and it's got the meanings and everything in there and it's very nicely done. You've got the little QR code back there too so you can get the information from the website and everything. The box, I like how it's a little key right there. It's really, really well done, and it's really taking care of the decks. And you can see the Oz and Wonderland there, too. Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie of all time. I love the story of Dorothy more than just the Wizard of Oz movie and the first book. I think, if I remember correctly, there's like 19 books altogether. So it's not just her meeting them, finding the Emerald Sunday and going with the Munchkins and destroying the Wicked Witch and all that. There's so much more to the story. Like, she lives there, she stays there, she meets people, she has a life there. Yeah, you'd have to read the books to find that out. Let's see if I can get to the different illustrations here really quickly. Just show you a couple, because we're already, like, into this video, and I've got so many more decks to show you. Let's see, yeah, we'll go with these. See what that one is. Yeah, we'll go with these right here. Actually, I'll do that one too because there's a lot going on here and I love all the illustrations in this deck, so it's more than, like, I could go through the whole deck, but let's not do that. The tower right there is the tornado, so that's definitely a tower experience, but look where it led her to something better. So the tower falling, the tornado hitting might lead you to something better when you let that stress about it and that pain, that negativity that you're holding onto about it, let it go. Because remember, the star is the card to follow the tower in the major arcana sequence, so that star power may only come when you let the tower fall and look forward. So that's the tower right there. Death Beth is the Wicked Witch of the West, and I love the Wicked Witch of the West. She's my favorite character from the Wizard of Oz universe. Come on, if someone dropped a house on your sibling, you'd want them dead too, right? So she wasn't that bad of a person. And this is like very pop culture right now, because there's that movie coming out, Wicked, and it has the whole backstory of the Wicked Witch of the West, and that is something I am so freaking excited for, because I love the Wicked Witch of the West. Like, even when I was really little and I first watched that movie, no, I didn't want to be Dorothy. I wanted to be the Wicked Witch. I wanted to fly around in a broom and have flying monkeys as my friends, and the ones that helped me, and, you know, well, they were slaves to her because she had their hat. Again, read the books. But an illustration of death right there, and her death having to be killed and everything. That's really devastating, because she was awesome, but, you know, she was threatening Dorothy. So, and she was hurting the Munchkins and things like that. So maybe it was for the best. But still, Wicked Witch of the West, awesome illustration. Wicked Witch of the West again is right here. 4 of Pentacles. Excuse me. Nature's making my allergies act up a little bit. But anyway, 4 of Pentacles and the Wicked Witch's possessions. That's what this card is called. It's just awesome, like everything going on in her ball and everything, and she's appreciating all the things she has in her lair, in her castle in the darkness and castle in the cliffs and everything. But it kind of reminds us that, you know, we can't hold on to all this stuff. It doesn't matter, because, you know, we're going to die anyways, and we can't take it with us. But just the illustration right here in the Wicked Witch of the West, again, love the Wicked Witch of the West, so I love that illustration. The caterpillar there is the Hierophant. He had all the knowledge. Like I said, this isn't just a Wizard of Oz. This is Alice in Wonderland too. So they have cards in this deck too, because it's kind of a similar story. A girl leaves behind what she knows and starts this journey and meets new experiences and has enemies that she has to face and overcome. And the Hierophant there is one of the characters that Alice meets, and the one that is the wisest, is he sits on top of his toadstool right there, his mushroom, and he smokes whatever he's smoking, and he tells her what to do. And that's just, look how awesome that illustration is of the Hierophant and the caterpillar, the blue caterpillar. It's really pretty. I love the colors and everything of it. The 3 of Wands, the card of celebrating our passions, you know, focusing on what we want to do next, taking the path that lights our inner fire. That is that illustration. And it shows Alice, you know, she's playing the game. She's taking her ideas and she's running with them, because that's what she wants to do. She wants to get out of here. She wants to go home. So she's following her fire, because that's what choice she has made, to go after her dreams. And she's being true to who she is, and she's not being afraid, which inspires others to do the same. And then we have the Fool, which is Alice as well, you know, taking that step into Wonderland, following the bunny, showing that we can be fools no matter how young or old we are, and we can take our ideas and run with them and be a fool for the things that we want to be a fool for. And then the 2 of Cups. I love this illustration, because, you know, the 2 of Cups usually shows a male and a female. You know, lovers, emotionally invested, relationships like that, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant others, those kind of thing. But here's the 2 brothers, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and it shows but it's not just necessarily a romantic relationship that can move us forward. It's a connection with somebody that emotionally fulfills us, that has the same ideas and same goals with us. It can be a business relationship too, but shows that emotional investment we have in somebody else, or even the emotional investment we have in ourselves when we feel whole and complete within. Because, you know, 2 sides of the coin, opposites attract, positive and negative, those aspects of ourselves coming together so we love who we are and take our ideas and trust our intuitions more. So that is the Mystic Madness Tarot Journey to Oz and Wonderland. There are the sides of it, gold foil like this deck. Probably my favorite Kickstarter deck that I have found, because, come on, it's Wizard of Oz and it's Alice in Wonderland. It's such a unique idea. So definitely up in my top 10. We're going to get to another Kickstarter now. Now this one's a little bit weird. A little bit weird is an understatement, because it's more than just weird. Let me find it in my pile. And it's the Alleyway Tarot. The Alleyway Tarot is weird because it's unlike any other tarot deck out there. The guidebook is really, really cool, because the guidebook has information about all the cards. And also, the thing that makes this deck really cool is it's not just one deck. It's one deck that is collaborated by a bunch of other tarot card creators. So it's got different backs, it's got different illustrations, and it's got different meanings, because it's from 78 or more different decks. And you've got all those illustrations right there. Let me see if I can get my 5 there. We'll stop there. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. there's my 5. And the backs there, you can see that's what makes this deck so cool, are the different illustrations on the back. So once you, like, if you work with this deck a lot, you're going to memorize what the different cards are because of the different illustrations on the back. But come on, this is so unique, so original. There's nothing like it. This is, like I said, another Kickstarter deck, but it's so worth it. Because you're not going to find a deck quite like this anywhere else, unless you make it yourself. I mean, if you have 78 different decks and you like one illustration of each card from each deck, you could make a deck very similar to this, but this way, you don't have to. And the, like, illustrations that I like the most in this deck are right here, and I like this one. This version of Judgment, because it's a cicada, and the cicada has shed its skin and started anew, and it reminds us that we can do the same. So it's going to go off to its little orgy. That's what I call, like, the cicada parties that come out in 14 or 7 or 14, 17 years, that area, and they have their families, they grow their families, they do what they need to, and then they go die and the new generation starts growing. So it's like shedding our past and beginning anew. So I love that illustration. Next up is the High Priestess. Look at that back, how awesome that back is and how creepy cool it is, and that fire that is on top, that candle, like, illuminating everything. But this illustration of the High Priestess is extremely dark and creepy, and it shows that dark night of the soul, when we take that time to learn from the things of our pain of our past, and we learn from it so we can trust our intuitions. You know, we're not letting it hold us. We're not letting it hinder us. We're not letting it fill us with doubt or sadness or anxiety. We're taking it, we're trusting it, and we're growing from it. So I just love that illustration of the High Priestess. Background, like, this is actually the back of the deck, but come on, how cute is this anyways? I love this illustration. All those ducks fighting death and everything. It's adorable. With the card on the front, which actually is death, is adorable as well. How cute is this death card? I mean, it doesn't really have necessarily like the Deviant Moon Tarot and death showing that life begins again, but it shows that innocence and that childhood and facing our fears and everything like that, because there's the spider, there's the worm popping up, there's the bat, another spider, and he's got his teddy bear. You know, he's going into danger. He's letting go of the pain of his past, letting it die so that he can move forward with confidence. So I love that illustration right there. It's just, it's creepy and cute. Next up, we have this illustration. Again, backs. The backs of these cards are as cool as the fronts. And so that illustration there and that star is a platypus. How cute and awesome is this illustration of the platypus and the star, like letting that tower fall, diving deeply into that ocean of emotion so we can learn from those experiences and rise up to be the star we're meant to be. And then this illustration, I believe it's from the Lizard's Tarot. The back, you know, scales and everything in the eye. So cute. And that's the 5 of Wands. And the 5 of Wands, like, they're all fighting for those worms. They're all focused on, I'm the only one that can have one. And my passion's the only one that matters. Yours doesn't. But there's room for everybody. There's a fishing worm. Yeah, that's technically what they're called. Earthworms, fishing worms. But you've got those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's actually 5 there, which shows there's enough for everybody. But if you're so focused on making other people feel badly or focused on the ones that make you want to feel badly, then you're not just going to focus on your own passion. And that's what this one reminds me of. Focus on your own. There's enough to go around. So those are just a couple illustrations from this deck. They are all incredible. And like I said, guidebook is really awesome as well, because if you want to purchase any of these decks individually, like where the specific card came out, it tells you where to do that, like all the different information in here. Let me move to like the 10 of Cups right here. The 10 of Cups is from the Tarot Neutral Vibes Tarot and Refine and Play Tarot, created by Matt Green. Matt Green is a really, really talented artist all on his own. Like, he's taken playing cards and turned them into tarot decks. They're really, really cool. They're like playing card size and everything. And they've got the hearts and I can't think now. Hearts, clubs, yeah, that kind of thing. Like, you know what you see on playing cards, but they're made into tarot cards too. So Matt Green, very, very talented soul that just happened to make one of the cards in this deck. So that's really cool. I'm going to put this deck back into its box. There's so many cards in it, doesn't really want to fit. But there we go. And you can see the box and everything right there. A magnetic clasp. It's very, very well made. Speaking of well made and awesome decks, next up I have to show you is the Dark Mansion Tarot. Now, if you are a tarot deck collector or you're online and you look at tarot decks a lot, you may have seen the Dark Mansion Tarot created by Taroteca Studios. This is an extremely popular deck. This isn't the deluxe version of it, because the deluxe has different backgrounds, but personally I think these backgrounds are much prettier than those. You can see the box and everything right here, and the Taroteca Studios and everything in the background right there on the back of the box, and you can see how just well done it's made, or well made it's it is, how well made it is. There we go, that is the right words. And you've got that, like, how it opens and everything. This is one of the most counterfeited decks out there. You know, if you find it on Amazon, it's not the real thing. For reals. If you find it on Amazon, it's created by somebody else. It's not Taroteca Studios. You have to get this deck from Taroteca Studios or a used copy from like eBay or somebody selling it on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. Because they are from Poland. And this deck, it's not one of the most, it's not the most expensive deck out there, but it's cost a pretty penny because of how well it's made and how well it's worth it. There is no guidebook or anything like that, but you don't need it. Like, look how well, like, the back sides are, the black and everything, and this card texture, it's the best I've ever seen. Like, the way it's well made and everything. When I do festivals and stuff, this is always one of the decks I take with me. So a lot of people have shuffled this deck, and you can't even tell Deviant Moon is slightly warped because of that. But this one, no, because the card stock is one of the best ever made. First up illustration I think I've got all of the aces right here. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Swords, because the aces in this deck might be the prettiest things ever, like the prettiest aces ever. And they've all got similar energy right there, similar illustration stuff, but they're all different. You know, this one is the Pentacles. It's in earthly pleasures and happiness and gardens and things like that, and it tells us like our own ideas can bloom and grow when we believe in them. The Ace of Cups, it's sitting rising above the ocean of emotion. There's the dragonfly and everything. It shows taking that time to learn what we want to make, what fills our hearts with the most joy, and come up from that ocean of emotion so that we can grow it. The Ace of Passion and Fire, you know, a little passion and fire, it can be destructive sometimes, and there's all that desolate wasteland and everything there, but something new is growing from it. Something victorious can come from it, you know, when we take that passion and fire and run with it. Now, the Ace of Swords in this deck is probably my favorite ace in this deck because of just how simple it is. The clarity of the mind, the blue sky, and everything. We're taking our ideas. We can find victory with them when we trust ourselves, trust that light bulb that goes off in our heads, and we grow them into something more. So the aces alone in this deck are some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I love them. Death right there. Death is one of my favorite illustrations of death. It's probably tied with that one of the Deviant Moon Tarot, because this one just says, I'm bored with what's no longer serving me. I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to turn around from this boredom and walk through those gates and find something new. So I'm letting what no longer serves me come to an end and die. So we have that illustration of death. Which one do I have next? Oh, Judgment. Judgment is one of my favorite cards in this deck too, in this illustration, because everybody's just dancing to the beat of their own music. They've learned from their experiences, they're judging themselves fairly, and they're reborn. Like, they've shed all that stuff that no longer served them. They experienced it, they trust their intuitions now, and they're dancing to their own light, their own beat to their own beat of the drum, and just having fun and enjoying life. So it's such a unique take on Judgment, and it's just awesome. I love it. Again, I love, and this might be my last one, yes, the Devil. There's many illustrations of the Devil out there, and there's very few that show a female and a woman. It just reminds you that darkness within. It might be, you need compassion for it and love for it, so you don't feel like a prisoner to it. And it's just such a beautiful illustration of the Devil right there. One more? Yeah, no, I've got two more. Okay, Five of Cups right there. You show like the 4 cups down there, and it's even got the one down here that shows, you know, when we turn away from the sadness, maybe there's something there that we can learn from, something that can grow into something more, something we might be able to salvage from that pain of our past when we're able to look away from that pain. And there's the cup up there showing the potential and the opportunity that remains when we're able to look away from what, you know, we don't have anymore. So the crying over spilled milk, as I call this card, you can't get those back, but there might be something salvageable about that. The sun is rising again. You have to let go of the past in order to change your life for the better and fill your cup up with something new. And then, of course, the Six of Cups I have there, so 5 and 6 side by side right there. And I love this illustration because usually the Six of Cups shows like nostalgia, an inner child, like remembering the history or remembering our own childhoods and things like that and learning from them. But this one shows all the pictures, all the things that she has experienced. She's learning from them, reflecting on them, so she can have beauty and everything moving forward. And it's kind of a nod back to that Ace of Pentacles because the roses and everything are right there. So showing those experiences when we feel grounded and safe and love who we are in the present and are emotionally invested in what we want, then we can maybe find financial success with it as well. So Dark Mansion Tarot, man, I really do have Deviant Moon on the mind all the time. Dark Mansion Tarot, there's not many decks just as good as this one. Like the quality of the cards alone. Now there is no guidebook for this deck, but like I said, you don't need it. The more you look at it, the more you work with it, the more you're going to trust your intuition with it. And there's the fortune teller on the front with all of her cards and everything. So just dive into your own fortune telling power and trust your intuition and get an awesome deck and read the cards. I've got just a couple more to show you. The Japaridze, and I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, is one of the most beautiful decks I've ever seen. It's very abstract. It's very different. The backs there, you can see how awesome they are. There's just a lot to this deck. There's a lot to see and everything. It's different than other decks. It's a mass market, so you should definitely be able to find it as well. The guidebook, look how detailed that guidebook is and everything. So it comes with a really awesome guidebook right there to learn from as well. The backs, like I said, are beautiful. They've got that yellow and gold. You turn them over, then you can read them upright or reversed. So that is a cool aspect of it as well, because you don't always have that index. Let me see if I can get the cards here that I want to share with you with this deck. See them there? Yeah, there we go. Set these aside. There you have the little information about the deck, because the cards, the suits are different. Like even the members of the court are different than regular decks. Like the swords in this deck are winds, so it's the element of air, and it makes a lot of sense because the sword suit is the suit of air, so it relates to the winds. Fire, wands. You know, wands is passion and fire. Cups in this deck are tides, which do relate to water, and the pentacles or corns are gardens, and it is earthly pleasures and everything, so that makes a lot of sense. Where to begin? I'll start with this one. Got the tower right there, and it's chaos. There's so much going on here, you don't even know what to look at. And when you first have a tower experience and something first comes to an end, you know, you might feel like that. You might feel chaotic. You might like not know what to turn to or where to look. But when you take a step back and you don't like let the negativity or anything hold you back anymore, and you look at it from a logical angle, then you can start making sense of the situation. You can start seeing the yellow right there that shows the creativity and the potential that you have to create something better. All those coins, you see the coins and everything falling around as well. You know, you might have had that tower experience, but you can create something more successful as long as you let go of that pain and you don't let that hold you back and you learn from that experience. Which one do I have next? Ooh, the world. The world is also chaotic as well. Like there's so much going here. And like I said, it's an abstract deck, so it's a little bit more difficult to read with, but it's beautiful nonetheless. Like there's no deck quite like this. The more you look at it, the more you see, and the more you focus on your passions and the more you focus on what you want to create, the more you're going to find that success and feelings up on top of the world. So that's what the artist behind this deck did. He or she, they took their ideas and they grew them. They probably experienced tower situations and found chaos and everything, but with chaos comes beauty. We can create something better, and that world, there's no card like that world. It's just so much going on and so much beauty in it, even if we can't make sense of it sometimes. 8 of Gardens right there, that hard work and effort going in. You can see how he's mixing all those potions together. He's hard at work at what he wants to achieve. You know, he's going to find that garden and he's going to find that success of the world because he's willing to work for it. So I love that illustration of the colors of that illustration as well. 3 of Fire, which is the 3 of Wands right there. And it kind of relates back to that 6 of Swords we saw with the Deviant Moon when we started this. And it shows like when our passions fuel us, when we make the choice to follow them, be weird, be proud, wave those freak flags, and inspire others in the process, we can move forward and trust ourselves to create what we want to create next, because we're going over the ocean of emotion. We're learning from our experiences, and we're trusting ourselves and giving life to our ideas and moving forward towards them. So that's a beautiful illustration of the 3 of Fire or the 3 of Wands in other decks. And then there's the 8 of Tides. This illustration of the 8 of Cups, like you can see clarity's coming. Like all this darkness is going behind him and he's moving forward to different times, better times. Most of, if not all of the illustrations I have seen of the 8 of Cups or the 8 of Tides before shows the cups all stacked up neatly, but this one doesn't. And it kind of reminds you that, you know, when you're letting things go that no longer emotionally serve you, maybe it's not all nice and clear, maybe it's not all organized and not painful, like you didn't just like easily set those things aside and things. Maybe there's a little darkness back there, but the darkness will clear when you let it go and you learn from it and you find that strength within to keep going and find what emotionally serves you moving forward. And then, of course, last but not least, is the Emperor right here, which in this deck is called War, and that's what makes me love this illustration so much, because it shows the emperors and the powers and the authorities that want to fight and don't want us to see ourselves as the strong foundations that we are. And we are. Like the white and everything here says we're pure and we're able to change things when we're able to see ourselves as the strong foundations and don't have war within with our own selves, because there's enough of that going around anyways. That is the, however I pronounced this before, Japaridze Tarot. I did look it up once, but I didn't do it this time. When I did an unboxing of this video, I think I did. But beautiful, beautiful deck. There is no deck quite like this, and that's what I love about it. That's what I love about all of these decks that I'm sharing with you today, is the uniqueness that makes them original. Makes them give you more information from like that you may have gotten from other decks. So that is that deck, and then I have one more to share with you, and I left it for last because it might be the most interesting deck in my collection, and it is the United States of Tarot, created by Elena Lee McCune. And this deck, like, there's the backs, the White House and everything, and yes, it's very political. But it's more than that. It's more than just political, because it shows the history of America as well. And there's a lot of cards in here that just might shock you, might make you think that, like what is wrong with me and why do I want these cards and things like that. But it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. I'm going through all these cards right now. It's like I picked some out to show you, and as I go through them, it's like, well, I want to show you that one too. Okay, so we're going to just put these right here, and I'm going to go through them one at a time, and then I'm going to send you on your way, and thank you for watching. First up, I have the Eight of Pentacles right here, and this is Nikola Tesla. And when it comes to, you know, that saying of, if you could, like, it's a meme that you see online sometimes, if you could sit on a bench and talk to somebody that has passed on, who would it be? It's this guy right here for me, Nikola Tesla, because this man's mind was one of the most genius minds of the 20th century. He had so much knowledge, and he was discredited and everything, and he just had all this power, and he was willing to work for it. I love Nikola Tesla, so of course I love this card. We've also got the Six of Pentacles right here, and that's Jimmy Carter. Sharing is caring. He's sharing with others. He's building houses. He wouldn't have needed to do that, but he had that compassion and love for other people, and he wanted to share that with others. So houses for humanity and everything, that's what this one speaks of. So very, very cool illustration. Neither one of these really have anything to talk about politics, do they? Nikola Tesla wasn't a politician. Jimmy Carter obviously was, but he went and he gave back to his country, and he gave back to people, and it's just awesome. The Hierophant right there, Martin Luther King Jr., and it shows what a good, wise, inspirational teacher he was before his life was cut so short, which is awful. But that illustration there shows, like, our experiences, even if people don't trust us, if people don't like us, or people don't follow the same thing that we do, it doesn't matter. We can still be teachers in our lives. We can inspire others with our journeys and our lessons and everything. So I love that illustration as well. The Hanged Man there, John F. Kennedy. Like 9/11, there is a lot of conspiracy to the death of John F. Kennedy too, the assassination of him. So that kind of reminds us of that. When you think differently from others, when you want to share, it might not be the time to do it. So have patience. That's what the Hanged Man tells us. Maybe if he had patience and he didn't tell people what he wanted to do, I don't know. I'm getting things here I probably shouldn't. But maybe he would still be here, or he probably would have gone now because he was an adult in the 50s. But still, Hangman, you know, just waiting around for the right time. That illustration is awesome as well. The Six of Wands, that is George Washington himself, and showing the victory that he found when he fought for the Revolutionary War and fought Britain to get to, like, have freedom in America. There's a lot of backstory there that I don't appreciate and I think is negative. You know, we took this from the Native Americans. That seems wrong. But that was hundreds of years ago. Learn from it. Do better moving forward. Six of Wands is appreciating our victories no matter how small they are, so we can find more victories moving forward and love who we are in the present. Just that illustration and the George Washington and everything. It's such a unique, awesome deck that reminds us of all the good things as well as the not so good things of history. The Emperor right here, it's a really fun illustration, especially with, like, the upcoming election and everything. There he's sitting in all his money. He doesn't, like, he's in his underwear. He's in his bathrobe and everything. He's got his little wife beater and everything on there. barefoot, but he sees himself in the mirror. He knows his worth. He knows how strong of a foundation that he is, and that confidence. Even when he's just sitting there in his chair and he's like looking at it, he knows his own worth. So we can take a nod from his book, you know, and know our own worth, so we can see ourselves as the strong foundations we are. Like Donald Trump is definitely seeing himself as the strong foundation that he is. And when you see yourself as that strong foundation you are, you believe you are that strong foundation that you are, you can create a strong foundation as well. So that is that illustration. Which one do I have next? The Magician. The Magician is also Donald Trump, and he has Vladimir Putin right there pulling the strings. So it kind of reminds you that maybe that magician status, you know, that magician power might be easier to achieve with the help of somebody else. But don't let someone else pull your strings. Don't let somebody else tell you that you can't be the magician, or just be the magician for what you want to achieve. Believe in yourself. But it's just such a unique, weird illustration right there. And there's no deck quite like this one either. And then last but not least, I have the Three of Wands right here. Elon Musk making his spaceships and everything go up into the sky, showing that our passions can take us far when we believe in them and inspire others at the same time. You know, let that fire fuel you. And I love that I've ended this video and sharing these cards with you with that Three of Wands, because it reminds you the things that you're passionate about can take you far when you believe in them, when you share them with others, when you follow that light to where you want to be. Now, the guidebook for this one, not that great. You can see it right there. Definitely takes on the meaning of Little White Book, but it does have information about all the different illustrations and tells you all the characters that you see, because they're real people. They're real people in American history, American present, American just all the things that make America America. So this deck is definitely one of the coolest ones I have ever come across. It's not for everybody because, you know, politics and all that, but it's not just political. It's got the history too, and a lot of information in it. So those are my choices for top 10 decks that I have met so far in my life, and I clearly say so far because, again, there's going to be decks out there that I fall in love with moving forward. There's going to be decks that come out on Kickstarter or even mass market that's like, I have to have these too because they're awesome. But as always, I want to thank you for watching. If you want a reading with any of the decks that I have shared in this video, please comment on this video, message me on either the socials, or book one directly on my website at www.cosmiccrowtarot.com. As always, I really want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again in the next one.